Well, today's episode, we're going to be reviewing what took place in AEW Rampage right before we go the next day to Full Gear. And of course, we got who's going to level up on NXT Level Up. And then finally, the pay per view by Impact Wrestling Overdrive. Will see new championships? Will Mickie James have her last rodeo? We will find out soon enough. And also, we got some news updates only regarding GCW, what's been going on in certain events, what matches, the whole enchilada has been going on. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with AEW Rampage. It opened up with a backstage brawl. We were supposed to have the one of the matches for the AEW World Title Eliminator between Lance Archer and Ricky Starks. Now, this match was supposed to take sooner, but it did not happen. But apparently, Ricky Starks want this match to take place. Now, you probably would have thought Ricky Starks looks more like he's the underdog in this particular match, and I think it's true. It is the underdog, but it took many ounces of ways for Ricky Starks to bounce back. But it took only one spear in order to ensure that he picks up the win and advances. But however, his opponent that he has to face is his former Team Taz teammate, who is now part of the Embassy. We're talking about Brian Cage. Now, keep in mind, there is no love lost between those two. If you guys remember, it was Ricky Starks who screwed Brian Cage out of the FTW Championship last time. So, but because of this distraction, it did allow for Lance Archer to make even further damage onto Ricky Starks. So we'll see what happens. But however, that match will take place between Brian Cage and Ricky Starks at Dynamite before we get to Winter's Coming. Now, we do get a little interview with Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Now, keep in mind, Jericho is confident enough that he will walk out as the champion. But however, Tony Schiavone has a different opinion about what he saw in the eyes of Sammy Guevara. Now, Jericho can say that he knows what Sammy's doing, but you got to keep in mind, Sammy's only sole desire is to become world champion. So we'll see what happens at Full Gear. Now, our next match is the FTW Championship between Lee Moriarty and Hook. Now, I have to say this was one of Hook's biggest challenges. Not because I say so, it's because he took out, normally in his opponents he had, it took him like a lot quicker, but this time this was a much bigger a challenge for him against a competitor of his caliber, who is a mixture of both. Um, how do I say? Had a bit of the strong style, bit of the technical aspect, but it took only a moment for Hook to, um, how do I say, the maneuver out of the Border City Cross to turn it into the Red Rum and retain the FTW title. Now, our next interview, Jose and Rush, as you know, they still have certain issues towards John Silver, costing Rush the opportunity for in the AEW World Title Eliminator. But apparently, some sort of attitude had changed with 10. I don't know if he's sick and tired of John trying to step in for him or what, but we know that Jose and Rush have their eyes set on him to join La Facción Ingobernable, but we will know until that day comes. Next up, we have Athena taking on Madison Rayne. Now, we know we have seen a lot of changes with Athena, with her behavior, the way she's been acting. That is one of the things we have been noticing. However, Athena picked up the win when she applied like the double knees onto Madison Rayne to pick up the win. But however, once again, trying to clean up the mess or trying to further damage on Madison Rain was coming. But out of the surprising, we just saw the return of the current ROH Women's Champion, Mercedes Martinez. I think this is going to be interesting. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Martinez puts her title on the line against Athena. That is something we can definitely see down the road. Now, our next interview, we have Best Friends and Orange Cassidy called out the Factory. Now, they set up a match between 5 on 5, but the Factory were trying to play smart, saying there's only three. Then we saw Rocky Romero, and then a video message coming from none other than Danhausen. As you know, Danhausen got power drive by QT, and QT is confident enough that he's going to walk out as the victor. Now, keep in mind, Danhausen, he's not going to forget anything. He has something up his sleeve. Now we continue to see more vignettes with the House of Black. It's only a matter of time until we see them. We don't know what direction they're going to go, how the storyline is going to be built, but I'm sure it's going to be very, very interesting how they come back. Now, our main event, we have Konosuke Takeshita teaming up with Jun Akiyama to take on Eddie Kingston and Ortiz. This was a dream match, you can say, for Eddie Kingston. As you know, he studied Jun Akiyama throughout the years, and he dreamed of wanting to face him. I think this match kind of proved it all, but however, it was Ortiz who suffered the fate with the Destroyer by Akiyama to pick up the win. Now, however, there's an exclusive content that they did not post it on live television where Eddie Kingston asked Tony Khan for a one-on-one match against Jun Akiyama, and it's going to take place at the 0 hour of Full Gear. So that's kind of like something he's looking forward to. It so it's going to be interesting. I will definitely see that match. So I think that's pretty much it right now with AEW Rampage. I believe it's time for NXT Level Up. Okay, who levels up on this episode of NXT Level Up? So it's opened up with the ladies taking action. We have Thea Hill along with Chase U, Andre Chase, and Duke Hudson taking on a new girl named Danny Palmer. Not much about her, but I think this is where, of course, we have to see the new and improved Thea Hill. As you know, she hasn't had good wins against Kiana James recently, but right now, this particular match did showed a little bit of a new. I'm not sure of what you call this move. Is that she grabs like the head, tried to put her down face forward onto the mat and giving her the win. So she won by pinfall on that. I think that was a very improved type of finisher, but I'm not sure if that's going to be an official one, but we'll just wait and see when that day comes. Now, as you know, NXT Level Up was created to bring in new talent. They introduced a brand new talent named Oba Femi. I don't know much about him, but he did stated that he's there to make his family proud, to be something that he never thought he could do, and I think this is going to be. But however, his opponent that he'll be facing is none other than Dante Chen. As you know, Dante Chen has been on a roll recently in NXT Level Up on certain occasions. But however, I think this match between Oba and Dante have been one of those matches where Dante has been pushed to the limit as much as possible, but it was no easy task for him to take out a guy like Oba, who's a big, more individual character. And I think that's one of the things I like. But he was able to come away with the victory when he applied that double chop right in on his chest to pick up the win. In our main event, we have Orojo Mensa taking on Shannon Stacks Lorenzo. Now you probably can guess that somehow that Tony D was going to get involved. That's exactly what happened. He got involved, and that gave Channing Stack Lorenzo's the opportunity to pick up the win. But where does this lead for Channing? We don't know. We know he's been improving a little bit, and I think that's a good thing. So we'll find out soon enough with him, and I think this is how we ended right now with NXT Level Up. So let's move on with Impact Wrestling. Okay, Impact Wrestling Overdrive. It opened up with tables match between Moose and Bully Ray. Now this string match is very interesting. Now keep in mind, As you know, when Bully Ray first reappeared, winning the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match, a lot of questions did remain about Bully. Is he still that same guy that we remember where he screwed people over? Now, Moose was willing to admit that he is a scumbag, but he said he was mostly influenced by none other than Bully. So, this is where, of course, Moose has to face Bully in his wheelhouse, which is the tables. But it only took a spear by Bully Ray to defeat Moose to give him the win. But now the obvious question is, when will he call his shot? We'll just wait and see. Now, our next match, we have, of course, the Knockouts World Tag Team titles. We have Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans taking on Death Dolls, consistent of Jessica and Taya Valkyrie. Now, keep in mind, Jessica, in the other hand, she was not in a good place due to the fact that she had a loss against Savannah Evans. But now that seems things could be changing, but some good cohesive unit between both um, Jessica and Taya kind of changed it up for Jessica to apply the sick driver onto Tasha Steelz to pick up the win and retain the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Now, as you all may know, Bullet Club members Ace Austin and Chris Bay will be leaving soon to Japan. However, the Motor City Machine Guns are saying, good luck, boys, and all that. And they say that once they return, they will become the brand new Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions. However, the Major Brothers don't see it that way. They believe they're the ones who are going to, in fact, win it. But they even said they're always welcome down to check out the match. And I think that's what they were going to do. Now, our next match is also is part of the last rodeo between for Mickie James. If she loses her match, she is forced to retire. But now she faces Taylor Wilde. I think this is another match where Taylor Wilde really put her to her limits, and I think that's a good thing. It took a bit of every maneuver to try to take her down, but Mickie James refuses. But however, it took the Mickie DDT to pick up the win by Mickie James. However, during the post match, Donna Perazzo comes out saying what she needed to say to Mickie James, saying that she's only in it for herself, that she's selfish, that she's a bad person, and all that. That this time she's going to be the one to send her home. And that's one of the things that Deanna Prazo said she do. She had forgotten what happened last time. As you guys remember, Chelsea Green went home. Now, Mickie James didn't mention that it wasn't her fault that this happened to her, but she didn't force her to go home. So we'll see what happens then. Now, our next match is the Impact World Tag Team titles between the major players and Motor City Machine Guns. Now, keep in mind, the major players, since they reunited, they have their sights set on the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team title. So it took a bit of a while. They had to try to find a way to sneak around against the Motor City Machine Guns in order to do that. But however, the Motor City Machine Guns took the opportunity to grab some chairs and try to take a front row seat. However, there was a moment where, of course, they were about to use a chair against the tag champions, but Motor City Machine Guns did not have that. They grabbed the chairs to ensure they did not get away with it, but it did allow for Rhino and Heath to, in fact, retain. But sooner or later, we will see that feud between both the major players and the Motor City Machine Guns. Next match is part of the X Division tournament finals. We have Black Taurus with Crazy Steve and versus Trey Miguel. I think this was a good match, because we know that Trey Miguel has been the X Division champion. Many people probably would have liked to see Taurus done that, but I'm not sure if this is the beginning of seeing Trey turn heel. He used a spray can onto the eyes of Taurus and to get away with it in order to win the match. As you know, this title means so much to him. He lost it in a triple threat match, and I think that sets a lot of things. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks with Trey Miguel. Now, our next match is a last woman standing for the Knockouts Championship between Masha Slamovich and Jordan Grace. Now, keep in mind, Masha Slamovich at Bound for Glory had an opportunity to challenge against Jordan Grace, but fell out short. Basically lost the match, but we haven't seen her since. She re-emerged, and now this time she called her shot for another opportunity of the Knockouts Championship. but this is a last woman standing. Basically, if they don't get up by the count of 10, it's over. And I think this is one of those brutal matches. But I think the biggest devastation is when Jordan Grace applied a buster on the table that allowed her to win the match and keep Masha Slamovich down out for the count. And I think that's a really good moment for that to see. So I have to say, great match. Next up, I have to say this is one of the best matches of the night. For the Impact Wrestling World title, we have Frank Kazarian versus Josh Alexander. I have to say it was pretty good. One of the things that I know is Josh Alexander refuses to tap out when Frank Kazarian had him in the chicken wing, but it did not work. Every move that even Josh Alexander tried to do, it did not help. But it took a bit of a C4 spike to pick up the win. I thought it was great. But of course, Frankie Kazarian was given a standing ovation for what an amazing match he had with Josh Alexander. But of course, we see Bully Ray coming out calling his shot for the opportunity for the title. But however, looks like everybody's word about him saying do not trust Bully Ray has finally come true. He attacked Josh Alexander and handcuffed him, but he was about to hurt his wife Jade to send a direct message that he is going to become the brand new Impact Wrestling World Champion. So we'll be following that in the next couple of weeks until the next pay-per-view or so. So I think that's pretty much it right now with our reviews. It's time for news updates. Okay, welcome to news updates. The only thing we have right now is stuff coming from GCW. Now, it was announced by GCW that Alex Colon will be on an excursion for 2 months in Japan. He'll be participating in events with promotion Freedoms. I have to say is a great thing for him. As you know, I think this is an opportunity for him to bounce back after losing the Nick Gage Invitational to John Wayne Murdoch. But I'm sure he's going to have some amazing matches with Freedoms. It's been a while since I've seen one of their events, but we'll see from there. As you know, this coming Sunday we have the Aurora event. It was announced that there's going to be a tag team championship for the GCW tag titles. Los Macizos taking on the main event. Originally, it was supposed to be another team, but I forgot who Waves and Curls. But however, due to some unfortunate circumstances they couldn't control, main event has been added at the last minute. Now, a match has been announced for the America's Most Wanted event that takes place on the 10th of December. We're going to have Masha Slamovich taking on the Dark Sheik. I am so excited for that match. And then finally, for the New Year's doubleheader that takes place, my boy Hunter Freeman will be participating in both events. So this will be his debut at the Showboat in Jersey. I'm very excited for him. As you know, I'm friends with the guy. So I'll be seeing what's going to go down. I haven't even talked to the guy. Hopefully I do an interview with him because I really owe him one. So I think that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys on. So I'd say let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, more Choco Pro, and I believe we have GLEAT coming up as well. I'm not sure if the GLEAT one will be taped and then showed a little later. I'm not sure. As we speak, we have Stardom's Gold Rush, where I'm not sure if I'll be seeing it. I haven't even seen the last weekend's Stardom events for the Goddesses Tag League. I'm sure there is, and don't forget, we're getting closer right now to the historic crossover, which I'm excited for. Hopefully, I can get to see that one completely. I really want to. I think that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys on the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.
Are you ready? Are you ready?